Hello and welcome to Give It Some Welly. In today's programme we drop into Ballymoney to meet a family involved in a cultural exchange programme as organised by the YFCU. We'll also call in to Ballymena for a youth forum to see the topics being raised there. But first of all, we've come to the Park Avenue Hotel in Belfast to meet representatives of the Five Nations as they discuss issues affecting all the young farmers throughout the UK and Ireland. The young farmers' organisations of the UK and Ireland meet informally at many events during the year and formally each November. This year was the turn of the YFCU to host the event in Belfast. The issues which affect all the organisations are similar, with the regional CEOs, presidents and chairs discussing areas as diverse as commerciality to CAP reform, education and training and international events.
I'm here for this event because I'm the Group 1 representative for Rural Youth Europe, and Group 1 is the UK and Ireland. So I'm here to oversee conversations that take place and feed those back to Rural Youth Europe at large. And Rural Youth Europe is the umbrella organisation for the different youth movements in around 22 of the European countries across this continent.
Do you think much progress has been made today with the groups?
Oh, certainly, we've made a lot of progress today, and it's very interesting just to hear different issues that different organisations are facing and how much shared value there is in sharing those things together. And just by talking about these issues, we're learning about a lot.
Do you think there's a real positive future then for the young farmers groups?
There's a very positive future for the young farmers groups, and I think as the world is changing so much now and food production and how we produce food is becoming increasingly vital as a part of our wider rural communities that interface with urban people as well. Young farmer organisations are really key to bringing those things together and securing the future of the rural communities.
I always really enjoy these meetings. I'm lucky enough this is now my third, and every time we come we share best practice through what we're all doing as our separate organisations, and we also look to try to do something as a Five Nations as well to showcase our best practice really across all of the nations, and we look at ways that we can help all push our organisations forward.
Representing England and Wales primarily today then, how does your young farmers clubs perhaps differ from what we may experience here in Northern Ireland?
For a start, we're a lot bigger. So we have 24,000 members split across 7 areas. Wales is one of our areas. And obviously they're an organisation in their own right. So the main difference for us is our sheer geography of our country and the vast membership that we have. But we still face the same issues, we still have the same problems, but we also have a bit more resources as well staff-wise, although it's nice to be able to share that and have an open forum, which is what this is really. And it's really useful, and it's hopefully going to help build all of our organisations in the long run.
This is the second meeting I've been for the Five Nations, and it's really a chance for all the nations to come together, meet socially, but also to share their problems or common goals or try and make a plan so that we're all going in the same direction, because it's pretty evident there's quite a lot of things similar in each organisation. So it's good to see what other organisations are doing that maybe you could use, and also share what you're doing yourself.
It's been an excellent meeting. The young farmer organisations from Ireland, England, Ulster, Wales and Scotland, we meet once a year and we compare notes, and we have a lot of common initiatives going, such as travel and exchanges. So it's a vital meeting for us on an annual basis.
And was there anything specific that came out of the meeting that you really felt would benefit your own members?
There were a number of things that came out of the meeting. One in particular is in relation to how we are more effective in retaining members, and also a key issue for our organisations. We deliver an awful lot of excellent services to rural young people. However, we're not recognising that through any accreditation. So that's something we're discussing today. How can we put a value on that and give that value back to the member? Because they get wonderful skills through our programmes that are very beneficial in terms of their own careers, employment prospects and the like.
It's been a good meeting, I think. It's a good opportunity to catch up with my counterparts from the other Five Nations. It's interesting to see what people have got on. We had our meeting 12 months ago in Birmingham, so to see what's changed for the member organisations during that time. And it's interesting to get feedback and hopefully to take away something that we can practically do, that we can share and do together.
And is there anything specific that came out of the meeting that made you think, yes, that's something we could introduce to our members groups?
Yes, we were particularly interested in Macra, so the Southern Irish young farmers, and they have a database where club secretaries, so the voluntary members, are able to access that database and pay membership fees, and it streamlines the whole membership process. That's something we're particularly interested in because it's practically something that could add value and take some of the legwork really out of the whole membership process.
And how important, and just in general, are young farmers groups to the sort of the future of farming as a whole in Wales and in the UK?
I would say massively, and at the moment we're responding to a consultation on CAP reform, and it seems to be the message coming out loud and clear is that young farmers are the way forward. Young farmers across Europe, I think there were some studies undertaken which suggest that younger farmers are more efficient than older farmers, more ready to embrace technology, I suppose, and approach farming as a business. And I think that the Young Farmers Movement has a place to play in that, really, in supporting members, giving them skills, but also giving them the social network that they will need to be able to take it forward.
We're delighted to welcome our other members of the Five Nations here to Belfast for the annual meeting. It's always very, very useful to share information and share experiences. When you sit in and listen to the problems and issues that all the other nations have, we are so similar, all very, very similar issues, and it's great to learn and sort of share all the experiences.
And because obviously you've got similar issues and other organisations are dealing it, does it sometimes help then being able to deal with the problems and come up with solutions?
Yep, very, very much so. In discussions this morning, we've realised that the Five Nations represent 35,000 young people right across the Five Nations, so we have a loud voice of young people in the industry. By sharing this information, there's a few problems that have already been resolved, and dedications to work together more in the next year. So
exchange programmes are a big part of what the Five Nations do as well. How important is that and vital is that to the YFCU members? Very,
very much so. I would consider the exchange programme as one of our largest positives, where members are offered travel all over the world at a negligible cost, and they get to visit so many other countries, experience cultures. No other youth organisations offers this, so it's crucial.
Long may it continue. Yes. And finally, I do have to ask about your facial adornment.
Yes, thank you, Stuart.
You are taking part in Movember.
Yes, we are. As president, I launched a campaign encouraging our male members to grow a moustache for the month of November to raise funds for Cancer Focus NI. So I'm delighted to say that plenty of brave members have joined me in this quest. So I'm collecting sponsorship. So if you see me or any of the male members, please dig deep.
Give them your money indeed.
Yep, okay.
The Cochrane family, who are members of Coleraine, are an example of a family who over generations have embraced the international dimension of young farmers. John Cochrane is currently in Australia as part of the International Exchange Programme, but we had the chance to speak to his brother William, sister Rachel and mum Valerie. So it's lovely to meet you, Cochrane family, and we'll start off with mum, Valerie. You went on an exchange programme as part of the Young Farmers Group a few years back. Tell us about that and how things have maybe changed since then.
Yes, Stuart. Well, I went to Australia for a 6-month exchange way back in 1977, and it was a wonderful opportunity. Really, looking back, it was the trip of a lifetime. And I had been involved with the young farmers since I'd finished at university, and then I applied, and the trips were awarded according to just different criteria, but I was very lucky to be offered a trip. And it was 6 months, 3 months in Western Australia and 3 in New South Wales. And as part of that, we got to travel across the Nullarbor Plain, which was very exciting. So, and then after the exchange was over, I travelled right up through the centre to Darwin and across to Queensland and down the other coast. So I really had a wonderful experience in Australia, and while I was there, lived with host families and did a wee bit of farming and a bit of sightseeing and just whatever the families were doing.
Mum has talked a lot about Australia and her trip with the young farmers. As we grew up, It was just a big highlight in her life, and so I guess there was never any question that I would apply for an exchange. And I really did want to do it, and because I'd been a big member of the Young Farmers from the age of 12, and I'd done a lot of public speaking and debating. So I applied and got to spend 3 months in Ontario. And it was an amazing opportunity. I didn't really know, where I'd be going or who I'd be there with. But it was fantastic, and I was there with 5 other exchangees from across Europe. But I had quite a few other exchangees from the UK.
Well, the European Rally runs once a year, and different countries within Europe, and there's always a theme in relation to it. It's a week-long rally for 7 days, and the theme, and the year I was away was 2011, was social capital. So basically it was be active and get better opportunities in life.
I suppose before I was married, I hosted people very often coming from Australia and New Zealand, and then after I was married, I kept on hosting, and then whenever these two went away, we had even more people coming. There's also a short-term exchange program running with the Young Farmers, and an under-16 program now, which our youngest son John has been on. He went to Poland with it, and John's actually now in Australia on exchange.
Yes, I've been delighted to lead the organisation on a couple of international exchange programmes, one to Sweden in 2010, and this summer past to Tipperary for the European Rally. And I've also attended a couple of international exchanges myself over the years. So international exchange programme and meetings such as the Five Nations meeting which we had earlier in the week are so important to the work we do in the Young Farmers Clubs of Ulster, and as a wider of the European movement of young farmers. And also then tonight we have, we're very serious about our emphasis on the youth of our organisation, because after all, they're going to be the young farmers of the future. They're going to be leading this organisation. I'll be long gone by the time some of these young members are moving up through. They'll be taking my place. So we're very keen to hear their points of view. They're all very positive about things like foreign travel and the opportunities they get through young farmers. So we're very keen to hear their points of view, and that's the beauty of the Young Farmers Clubs of Ulster. We take on board everything that our members say and everything that our members want to do.
As part of constantly reviewing that our programmes are working for our younger members, we run focus groups in all the counties involving under 16 members. On this evening, County Antrim brought together some young people to help the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development with inputs into their new strategic plan for children and young people in rural areas. This was led by Sharon Fitchie and Diane Taylor, who spoke about issues which affect members in their education, life and well-being, while YFCU Vice President Jeanette Sterling chaired a second discussion in relation to YFCU competitions, meetings and training. The young people were excellent, and there were plenty of ideas for the future.
Young farmers, I think it teaches you a whole lot of how to be social. It teaches you a whole lot of things you're going to need in your life. It's a very common sense based type organisation, I think, and it is quite useful for things that you will maybe come up to, like likes of public speaking. It's a competition within the young farmers. It's good because it helps it helps with jobs, it helps with everything, getting up and speaking in public. That's all very important in your general life, I think, and it's very beneficial.
Well, I get out of it through doing all the different competitions. I feel more confident that I could stand up in front of someone now and do a presentation or speak about different subjects or anything.
Well, I think I've got a lot more friends and confidence in school, and build up a lot more encouragement, stuff I would do a couple of years ago I can do now, and just a lot more confidence and stuff.
Yeah, I can speak a lot better in public now. I do a lot of public speaking through school now because I've learnt to do it in Young Farmers, and I've also met a lot of new people.
Well, I'm able to speak in front of people easier, because I like public speaking and group debating. So if I'm ever taking a presentation when I'm older, I can do that.
Public speaking, you've all your arts floral arranging and arts festival, and you've got like different competitions, and you do sports and stuff, which is another good thing about it.
Well, I've met loads of new people. Like, I wouldn't have knew half the people I knew now, and I spend most of my time with them, and it takes up a lot of time during the week. The sports activities like tag rugby, girls football. I was at group debating last night actually, and public speaking and things.
Well, hopefully I can continue on through the club to maybe to the final age 30. Hopefully be somewhere higher up than just the club level, maybe go into the county, or maybe even hopefully further on, so I can always stay with the club, as I find it is a very good organisation.
I hope it'll get bigger and better. I know a lot of people that is joining this year and will be in the next few years coming up through, so I can see it getting a lot better. And
I would say the clubs would be, at the minute the clubs are quite distant. I would like the clubs maybe in, 10 years down the line, I would say, closer links with each other and a bigger, more friendly kind of based organisation. Because it's not far apart at the minute, it's quite nicely linked, but it would be nicer if we were all closer and more friendly.
I'll be long gone by the time some of these young members are moving up through, they'll be taking my place.
Hopefully be somewhere higher up than just the club level, maybe go into the county, or maybe even hopefully further on.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our programme here today and maybe learned some things that the YFCU can do for you. And what you can do for us is tell your friends and family to watch this video and like us on Facebook as well. We'll see you next time for more Give It Some Welly.